Let's take a moment, especially since our topic is related to energy and prana, to feel the presence of God in the form of power, divine energy, vitality, that gift of life which keeps us alive in the physical form. And let's pray to it. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, beloved Swami Kriyananda Ji, we humbly bow before you all, invoking your presence in our daily spiritual efforts. Beloved God, come to us, each one of us, in the form of energy, life force. Reveal yourself as the vitality coursing through our mind, our hearts, our limbs, and help us channel that energy. Bring that to the heart of everything that we do. Om Shanti Shanti. Let's meditate, friends, just for a minute. Sitting upright, let's take a double breath and breathe out from the mouth. We may do this one more time. And breathe out. Keeping the spine straight away from the back of the chair. Let's meditate just for 1 minute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good morning once again, everybody. Or good evening. It's my morning time over here. So, this is a beautiful subject and a little bit, very practical on one level. On the other hand, frankly, when you start talking about energy, and especially subtle energy, unfortunately, people are at a loss. They may once in a while feel it. Let's say you walk into a church or a temple. I was once in the presence of a lady who was in silence for 62 years. She was the foremost disciple of Neem Karoli Baba. There was no question about what is energy, how do you feel it, where is it emanating from in the room, who has the highest energy. She had it. And you can feel it. It's like holding two magnets. Even a little child can feel it. Swami Kriyananda Ji, when we used to visit him, more than one person, we would go into his house, come out, and people said that is like a silent powerhouse or a reactor, a nuclear reactor, because there was this energy going, happening there all the time. Now, the good thing is we don't have to make it a rare event. We don't have to, philosophize it. It's energy, that it's as simple, it's life force. And when there is less amounts of it, we feel it. We say, I'm feeling low. I wish I had more energy. And on the other hand, we all know people who have energy, more energy, and we've experienced those states ourselves. And most importantly, and this will be a series, because this is on one level a very simple and fundamental. It's the cornerstone subject of Yoganandaji's teachings, energy. On the other hand, there are subtle and beautiful practical ways in which Yoganandaji has given us tools and techniques, and we will not rush through them. I'll give you now weekly assignments over here, very simple things in which we could go deep. But what I was trying to say is it can be experienced not only in a church or in somebody else, but right here in our spines. And how much can you feel? This may seem a little philosophical in the beginning, but Swami Kriyanandaji writes, he says, the energy of the entire universe is locked at the base of each person's spine, awaiting its awakening. And it is, of course, we don't certainly want to make that a forceful process. How would you handle it? Like people also say, oh my goodness, that was too much energy. And we see that in the world. It's a lot of energy, but it's going in different directions. It can be chaotic. It can be, on one level, destructive, self-destructive. So anyway, what is energy? How does it come into our body? How can we feel it? How can we work with it? And what do we do when we have so much energy? And this is, of course, the subject of healing. So how can we then project that energy to other people? So I want to read, and I'll request, I'm seeing Tushar on the screen, if you can post, Tushar, the link for the book, How to Achieve Glowing Health and Vitality, because going forward, at least for a few weeks, I'm basing my talks on chapters from that book. And, you know, as I was preparing, I've read that book and done many workshops on it for the last now 12 years since it came out. But yesterday, I couldn't go beyond 2 pages in the first chapter itself. There is so much over there Yoganandaji has given. So I want to read a few lines from there, draw your attention to that, and then we will practice 1 or 2 simple techniques today, and I'll give you 1 or 2 assignments. So this is the opening line of the book and the first chapter, Vitalize the Body with Life Force. Master says, draw on limitless cosmic energy. And again, because these videos, and maybe somebody is new here totally for the first time, but they do go on YouTube. So I'm sure new people will be listening to this later. When you say something like draw on limitless cosmic energy, it seems again a little philosophical. Well, it is not. In the beginning, it is, because we are accustomed to, I have this much energy or that much energy. Well, you know how many hours Yoganandaji slept? 5 hours every month. I repeat, 5 hours every month. And he said to lead by example. Interesting. And on one level, there's a lot of research coming nowadays that we should sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. I myself like to sleep at least 8 hours a day, and we need sleep till we learn what is this energy. And again, if it is appropriate, and let me say it right away, it is not appropriate for most people somehow to be expressing that kind of energy. So on one level, Master wanted us to he was leading us by example to show what is humanly possible. It's a little bit like this weekend of Easter when Christ resurrected. What he really showed was the simple supremacy, or the winning of spirit over matter. Matter is a reality. It's a wonderful reality, but it is farthest away from spirit. When spirit takes over things, when mind, as people say, mind over matter, or energy over matter, thoughts over matter, they are absolutely right, because we all have had glimpses when we are able to make that happen. But consistently, not right now, maybe in this age for the mass consciousness. There's another example of this limitless energy in Autobiography of a Yogi. There are 2 saints, lady saints. Their photographs are right there. And not just Yogananda, hundreds of people have written about Therese Newman, one of them, and a few others have written about Giri Bala, the other saint. Now, the interesting thing was these 2 lady saints had not eaten anything, one for 25 years, the other for 50 years. One of them, actually, her hobby was to cook for others. A very interesting hobby, Yoganandaji said, for somebody who herself does not eat a morsel. But again, through some of these few, examples amongst us. God is trying to, and Yogananda then does not just leave it there. He's asking them, Mother, how do you live like this? How do you, what's the thing? And then she simply says, Baba knows everything, that you know everything. Why are you asking? But he was asking for your and my benefit, like you and I would ask if we had heard somebody or met somebody like that. So, again, I would encourage you to read the Autobiography of a Yogi and go through those two chapters. And over here, as Master says in the very opening, draw, which means we can bring it. We don't have to wait for it. Sometimes you don't have energy, and you're like, well, I wish I had energy. Get up and do something about it. I remember early on the path, I told myself that even if the thought came to me that what do I do today? I don't have any constructive work. I would send a message. We used to live 40 kilometers outside of Pune city, and we're trying to build an ashram community there. And when you're so far out, there are many things you need on a daily basis for construction, kitchen, regular household. And I remember that I used to, if I felt my energy was going down just a dip, I would just send a message to everybody, hey, I'm going to town. Does anyone need anything? And that's a full day's work. Then you come, you shop for everybody. But again, people benefited from that. But I really benefited because for me, it was one of those go to mechanisms to keep my energy high. Now, then Yogananda writes on a more, you might say, tangible level. The opening after that title, he writes, right beneath the flesh is a tremendous current. By the pickaxes of self realization, I have found that life force again. I and my Father are one. I am not the flesh. I am a bundle of electricity behind the body. And again, how simple. It's almost like a doctor's lecture that, my background is in medicine. So people would say, now, if you make an incision over here and we are looking at a diagram, they say, you'll see this artery, this vein, this nerve. And then if you go further, you'll find this. And how do we find that energy? By the pickaxes of self realization. Again, that's poetic. But Yogananda ji has given us energization exercises. One time somebody told me they were not feeling like energizing. The human mind is a double-edged sword. You see, and if anyone again does not know about those exercises, just go on YouTube and type Paramhansa Yogananda's energization exercises videos, and you'll find them. They look so simple, so childish, that you're like, well, and many people have confessed, I don't even have the energy to do these exercises. I don't want to do them. Well, that's where the trouble is. So you have to make the switch in the mind. And Master said, so somebody had this thing, oh, I don't want to energize today. And they were walking down our ashram and they saw Swami Kriyanandaji, who was 85 years old at that time, energizing in his garden. And a day before Yoganandaji left his body, he went out in the open gardens of Mount Washington in LA and he was energizing in front over there, which is to just emphasize what an important thing this is. And I'll leave us with this very little thought because our talks here are 15 minutes only. And again, I'm saying this if new people see it, that this will be a sequence of talks. Now, it's very interesting to notice, friends, that I am 44 years old, for example, that 44 years, 9 months ago, I was a single cell. And there's no poetry behind this now. I literally, all of us, do your math, a single invisible cell, which had energy, of course, which had intelligence. And then that self multiplication happens. We become a child, a baby in the mother's womb. Here we are eating, growing, drawing energy through breathing, food, medulla. This is the entrance of where the prana comes in from. And today we are a conglomerate. This body, an adult body, usually has about 50 to 70 trillion cells. Now, interestingly, I've asked this question and shared this statistic with you all. It's from an Oxford publication on the human cell. So this is research based. In 1 second, in one cell, among those trillions, the number of chemical reactions going on are 1.3 million or 13 lakh on an average in 1 second in one cell. The interesting thing is that on one level, of course, now we know there is limitless energy. We know there's a lot of energy, but it is going mostly to keep up the body. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when people have spiritual inclinations, the body is okay. You want to keep the body fit for self-realization. Yogananda ji writes about it again in the opening page. But you are more into changing your behavior, old habit patterns, overcoming karma. The concept of past lives kicks in. And when you're up against that level of homework, shall I say, you wonder sometimes, where is the energy going to come from? Well, it's all around us. It's going to come from energization. And in my subsequent classes, I'll go in more detail how Yogananda ji says that these can cure psychological, mental, physical diseases, and most importantly, he said spiritual diseases. Because when we don't have energy, even though you may be doing nothing, you're sitting on a couch, you're not feeling vitalized over there. You're feeling drained. Actually, many people do nothing and they say, I don't have energy. I don't feel energetic. Early morning. So it's not that, you can generate that, you can draw upon that, you can channel that level of energy. And like I was saying, on the other hand, you have people who have never eaten food for decades, some of these saints, and they are always brimming with that life force and that prana. So let's do a very simple technique now to heal what Yogananda ji called any body part. And then I'll give you 2 pranayams that you can practice in this coming week. So let's sit up straight. Now, this is a double breath. I won't go in the detail, but I'll share it later. Take a double inhalation through the nose, short and long. Tense the body, all the muscles. Breathe out and relax. One more time and try to tense as many muscles throughout the body as you can. Gradually increase that tension and breathe out and relax. Now you can close your eyes and focus on any one body part, or you can focus on the entire body. And this body part you're trying to strengthen. You're perhaps trying to heal it out of some disease, or you're seeking healing over there. Tense that body part gradually. Low, medium, high vibrating tension. Now hold that tension as much as you comfortably can and breathe out. Now this time we will inhale. Tense again that body part. Focus at the center of that muscle, that area. Breathe out and relax. Relax those muscles completely. Again, inhale. Hold. Tense. Hold the tension for 10 counts if you can. Relax. Now do this at least 3 more times. Ideally, we do it 10 times and 3 times a day. But do it 3 more times at your own pace now. One last time. Relax completely. Keep your eyes closed just for a few more moments as you mentally focus on that body part. And let's go back to that definition by Yogananda ji. Right beneath the flesh is a tremendous current. Try to feel that in that body part. Try to feel it in the muscles of that region. Try to feel the awareness of that current or that energy or a magnetic field spreading outwards from that area to the remaining surrounding parts of the body. Feel the lightness over there, perhaps a greater flow of blood, if you can perceive a change of temperature, and gently open your eyes. Now, as I said, we'll go in more detail with this. This is a deep and broad subject, but the two pranayams that you can practice sitting, meditating, even walking are easy to remember: triangular breath and box or a square breathing. And what do we have to do? It's very simple. If you're especially walking, and Swami Kriyananda ji used to practice this, you're inhaling through the nose. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale. Then you're holding 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you breathe out from the nose or mouth 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a triangle. Add one fourth component, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. That would be a square. And choose whatever number is convenient for you. Usually 3 to 4 is good during a walk. But there was a time Swami Kriyananda ji was sitting on a stage giving a lecture to people, and he gave a demonstration. He said, you can do 4 counts, 8 counts, 20 counts, and then I think he did something like 40 counts, which again, it's a very simple pranayam. Even a child can do it, but he was showing how you can go further and further in relaxation. And remember this, I'll leave you with this thought. The goal of this pranayam is to relax you further. Just because you're walking and working with your breath does not mean it has to be outwardly tension generating. It is, you should come out more energized and relaxed by the simple practice of this pranayam. Anytime you're feeling it's increasing strain, just gently keep it aside or do a smaller number. God bless you. Let's now do a healing prayer for the world before we go into individual healing prayers. Let us see our beautiful world and the energy behind matter over here, everywhere. It is energy that gives rise to the world. See that energy expressing itself freely, harmoniously, in a greater amount, in nature, in people, in their health, their happiness, their eyes and smiles. See the strength of that harmonious energy, healing relationships, and bringing God's healing power in areas of need. Let's rub our hands together, chant Om 3 times. Oh.